Hey everyone, before we get to our review of today for my Go Godzilla challenge, big shout out to a longtime supporter of our channel and a very talented YouTuber in his own right, the one and only Killer Rodan. I've got a link to his channel down below. You need to check it out. This man is far more knowledgeable in kaiju realm of films especially than I am. His videos are longer but so full of knowledge that you should check it out. I appreciate his support and his comments on all our videos. This is a shout out to him, and this series has been done in the spirit and out of respect for his channel. So today we are looking at number 15 in the Godzilla franchise and the last in the Showa series, and it is Terror of Mechagodzilla. Directed, the last Godzilla film, I believe, directed by Ishiro Honda. Yes, longtime veteran of the Godzilla franchise up to this point. And here we get the story kind of carry over from the events of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, where we have Interpol searching for pieces of space titanium because that's kind of hard to come by. And these are pieces from the original Mechagodzilla. But they are attacked by a new creature, Titanosaurus. Titanosaurus is under the control of a cybernetic female who is the daughter of a disgruntled scientist who is working with the aliens who want a little payback at Godzilla and still want to take over the world. And so the aliens use this control over Titanosaurus to work with their new and improved and rebuilt Mechagodzilla to finally take out Godzilla once and for all and finally accomplish world domination. But little do they know that Godzilla does have help, not in the form of a big gigantic robot or some other big beastie, but instead in the form of the humans who have a way to possibly even the odds for our big green friend. Godzilla, Terror of Mechagodzilla carries over what we saw in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the kind of return a bit more to the seriousness tone, the darker tone, the more mature tone of the series. Those elements that we fell in love with at the beginning of the Showa series are seen here once again, and that's really thanks to the talent of Ishiro Honda, from his use to the camera to his direction of the human storyline in here, which is fantastic. I loved how it integrated with the Godzilla storyline, and I also loved the performances, especially by the one and only Akihiko Harada, our longtime veteran who wore an eye patch sometimes, who hasn't. Here he's playing a villain of sorts in the Dr. Shinzo Mifune, who is the father of the daughter, the cybernetic daughter who controls Titanosaurus. And I loved his performance in here. He puts so much emotion into it. You feel for him. He's a sympathetic bad guy. You see his motivation of why he's working with the aliens, and you can feel his frustration that, you know, the scientific community just didn't accept him, and you feel all that through the performance of Harada. And this is unfortunate that this is his last performance in a Godzilla film. I do believe he was going to come back for Return of Godzilla, aka Godzilla 1985, but unfortunately he passed away of cancer. But very talented individual. He could play a good guy or he could play a bad guy. He seemed to enjoy the bad guy roles just a little bit more, and in here I just loved his Shinzo Mifune. Now we also have Goro Mutsumi in here. Now he was in the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, but he was playing a different role as the alien commander, and here's he's an alien leader, so he's a different yet the same. You know, and it can get a little confusing, but I really did enjoy that quite a bit. And Kenji Sahara does make a brief appearance in here as a Defense Force commander. Titanosaurus was actually supposed to be two smaller creatures that joined together, but they kept him the big creature, and I liked it. I liked his design, his longer neck, the fact that he was once again a sea creature here, similar, you know, but he's not a crab like Ibra was. You know, his own identity, own roar and everything, and the fact that he's controlled by this young woman, I thought was a great angle to take with it. Now, as far as the Mechagodzilla goes, we get a new streamlined and more vicious Mechagodzilla for sure, and Godzilla himself puts up a good fight. We do get not so much stock footage in this either. We get some nice fresh fight scenes in here. I like how the fact that the humans finally get to kind of repay Godzilla a bit by coming up with a solution to at least even the the odds in the fight that he has, the final fight in this. And it is an excellent bookend, I think, to the Showa series quite a bit. It kind of has returned back to its elements. It still has some of those elements for the younger adults, but it really is more mature, just like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla than the ones prior to it. So the few that were prior to it, those middle films. So really enjoyed how it came to a close. Unfortunately, they didn't make more Godzilla films, not so much because they didn't want to, but because of the energy crisis going on in the 70s. The oil energy shock that they had really hit them hard in both television and film production, and so they had to stop because these films did cost money, as we've touched on before, in some of those films where they had to use all stock footage for the fight scenes to save on money and special effects. So here again, we see the real world impacting the Godzilla franchise, and we unfortunately don't get to see him again for another 9 years, but you don't have to wait 9 years, because tomorrow I will be giving you my review of not Godzilla 1985, but the return of Godzilla. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. As far as Terror of Mechagodzilla goes, great cinematography, fun fights, loved the mixture and the balance of human and Godzilla's storyline, and really is worth a watch, and I think a respectable end to this series of Godzilla films. So let me know what you think of this film. Do you think Terror of Mechagodzilla was a worthy ending to the Showa series? And have you enjoyed this series so far? And what was your favorite Godzilla film of the entire Showa series, besides the first one? Because that one might be kind of a gimme, but which ones out of the other ones is your favorite? Love to hear your thoughts on that. Please stay tuned as we cover the next series of Godzilla films in our Go Go Godzilla Challenge. I thank you so much for your support. Please hit our Patreon if you haven't already, subscribe, thumbs up, and all that. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.